All you got to do is punch it. 60. You're watching Beyond the Test Drive, and this is the second review of a Polestar 2 this year. Just about a couple months ago, I was in the rear wheel drive single motor, but this week we've had the dual motor, and even better, we have the performance pack. That performance pack gives you the much larger brake rotors. We have the slotted, not slotted, we have the drilled rotors on the front, we have the Brembo brakes, we have these 20-inch forged wheels, front and back. Again, just gold colored rear calipers, and you get some extra horsepower, and you get the Ohlin dampers. So this is about as high as as high as you can go on the price. This one is sitting right around $69,000. I don't think anybody's paying that these days for these. Most of these are probably leased. This is in that fantastic midnight color. This is the color that I've always liked in the Polestar lineup. Again, I think this looks really like this color. Let's just here's the plastic key fob, but let's just go ahead and unlock it over here. See a little bit of a startup sequence on these headlights. Yeah, kind of cool. And these rimless mirrors will fold up when you lock. The funny thing about it is they do not fold up too much. Yeah, if you watch the other Polestar video, I did one last year. What makes this car cool to me is it's not that readily available. You don't see a lot of them like Tesla Model 3s. And when you start gussying it up with this beautiful gray leather, and I'll get more into that a little bit, yeah, it does finally feel like a premium BMW fighter in this class range. We have these Continental Sport Contact performance tires. This car has about 4,000 miles on it, and with all the torque, I think we got, I'll put the number up there, 450-ish horsepower, over 500 pound-feet of torque between the front and the rear. Yeah, I can see these aging rather fast. They already look like they got quite a bit of wear on them. This is one of my favorite things about the Polestar is this rear area. Not only is it a hatch, they've also laid out the hatch very nice. You have this sort of optional thingamabopper for separating the front and back, keep things from sliding around with hooks and straps. It's been very useful this week. So this is a nice little feature. You get straps over here, you get some nets over there, and with those seats down, or you do have this pass-through for longer items or skis. So yeah, it's just the way they've done this is pretty nice. This is pretty shallow, so you're not going to put huge things back here with the seats down. You can also take out this cargo cover. So I think they've done a really good job of this space. And again, it's kind of what makes the Polestar 2 unique. Yes, there is the Model Y. People like to compare this to the Y and the 3. It's kind of in between. It kind of bridges the gap between the Tesla Model 3 and the Y. We also have a front trunk with very nice strut opening. Not a lot of room up there. This is pretty much where you're just going to keep your charging equipment. Put in your wiper fluid there. Yeah. Go ahead and hop in the back. Yeah, so everything about the Polestar, it's very well built. It's solid, and there's not a bad seat in the house. Even the back seat are really comfortable, and the back seat folks are the ones who really get to enjoy this panoramic glass roof that's just kind of looking out on an ugly gray day today. But inside, we do not have ugly gray. We have this leather. And if you watch the other Polestar video, a couple of them out there, I did complain about their base fabric. Polestar is very proud of that fabric, but I just, for the price of these things, it just did not match the price. However, I have to say that this leather has transformed this car. I truly do feel like this is now a premium vehicle as far as how the inside feels. This leather is soft. It's a Nappa leather. It's ventilated up here, and it even smells good. It has a nice leather smell. Good contrasting materials. And when you do get this leather, you get sort of that grayish wood trim along there. You also get ambient lighting, fantastic ambient lighting on this top trim. Exterior puddle lights, door handle lights. You get a nice little light bar down under, just above that gray piece of trim, lights in the footwell. These are heated back here. You have one USB-C, very nice armrest cup holder here. You know, you get these gold seat belts with the performance package. I think they look cool. It's different, and that's always nice. And yeah, your own vents back here. Very, very cool. And I just have this here for an example of those cup holders. But here you go with that up. Now, one of the things I do like about the Polestar is that it kind of sits a little higher than a sedan, but it doesn't sit up like an SUV. So it's easy to get in and out of. These nice chunky handles. So yeah, I've talked about this in the other Polestar video, but the experience of getting in a car, starting up a car, interacting with a car, it's all part of what makes your car enjoyable. And so grabbing this handle, this chunky solid feeling handle, makes this good. Very good step in height here, and then the car comes on. And that's one of my, after I don't know, multiple weeks of living with Polestar, I just want an on-off button. I don't want this thing guessing. I don't want it coming on when I sit in the car, and I definitely don't want it cutting off when I get out of the car. And that's the other thing that is annoying. It's one of my big annoyances, is that when you get out of the car, it shuts off. And if you have a passenger over here, you run into the store, you do have to hold this down to keep the car running. And so that's probably my biggest annoyance. So that push of the button is part of that experience. And then the way they do the shifter here is just, it's phenomenal. Everybody else is struggling with wheels, knobs, you know, sliding. You can shut up now. Sliding things here. It's just, this is perfect. It's very organic. It feels good as you go up in the reverse, neutral, drive, and park. It's easy there. So not a lot of buttons in here, but the buttons that they do have are very nice. These are haptic. They feel pretty good. You do have this piano black, but I guess it's kind of silly. I guess Polestar knows you're going to be angry with that, so I better scrub it down. You do get a cleaning cloth, so kind of funny. And you get your volume knob here. If I rest my hand here, it's a great little rest to control the volume knob. These buttons right here, more piano black, but I will tell you, your cruise control, which we'll demo out on the highway, is here. And then your radio controls over here. You can bring up your mileage, your trip meter here. And then you can also change how your instrument cluster looks. You can have turn by turn right here. You can bring up your integrated Google Maps, or I can pull it up over here. And when I put a destination in, it's also going to tell me what my battery state of charge is when I get there. So this is I really like this. I just, it's a pleasure to look at. You know, I don't really use it. Where am I? There's a map there. I can look over here. It's just beautiful. The resolution is really good. Now, as you can see, I do have wired CarPlay. You can see the CarPlay pops up right here, and it's quick. It looks good. It's a square, but it's fine. Big icons, and but this is not centered around Apple. So you really go back to your main thing here. This is really a Google driven system. So I would like to see wireless CarPlay, and they don't do that at this price range. It should, but I get the fact that this is built around Google. You do have your car charger down here. It doesn't work all that great. It tends to, wireless chargers, what I mean, it tends to just heat the phones up. This thick case on this phone right here, it doesn't seem to get through to charge that. I don't know what the deal is with manufacturers and their wireless chargers. Toyota Lexus seems to have this down. I don't, take a lesson from them, guys. This doesn't work really well. Tesla's wireless chargers work really well also. But anyway, this system works. I have no issues with this. It looks good. It's easy to reach. It's pretty simple. It's a little, there's nothing fancy about it. I do like the fact that I can go right to car right there. And then while I'm driving, it's very easy to change my steering wheel feel here. I can go turn off my traction control for sport mode there. And I can also change my one pedal driving feel, which is really nice. You do get excellent one pedal driving in this, and then I like to keep it on low. And then you have this creep setting. It doesn't turn you into a creep. What it does is when you're just at a red light and you want to creep up, you just let off the brake and the car will move up like a regular automatic transmission in a gas-powered car. But creep is always on there. All of your driving assistance as far as safety, your charge setting, it's all right here. It's really easy to do. Now we'll go on a trip out on the highway today and do range. I do want to talk a little bit about range about here. So it's odd. You go over to this thing called range assistance. Let me hit that. Yeah, you go over to this thing called range assistant, which kind of tells you how you're doing. And if you hit this setting thing here, I can change my estimated range to dynamic or standard. 83% battery level right now. This is not a range monster. This high performance, we got the big tires, we got the extra horsepower. This thing, I don't know, 250, 260 is what it's rated for. However, as you can see, it's saying 230. However, the dynamic range says 180. This is probably more accurate. This is based on how the car's been driven the last whatever miles since we reset it. And over time, it feels like it gets somewhere in between, but we'll do a 70-mile road trip and we'll estimate that again. But right now, 83%, 230 miles, dynamic 180. Again, the dynamic is probably closer to reality, or maybe a little bit conservative. Now, as we tool our way over to the road here, I do want to give a big hearty thank you for pressing play today. We really do appreciate that. And if you are a subscriber, thank you for all of your support. And if you aren't a subscriber, check out all of our content over on our YouTube channel. Check out our IG, also at Beyond the Test Drive. Consider subscribing. We would love to have you along for the ride. All right, my favorite thing to do is an uphill dig. Let's put some wear on these Continentals. Okay, 60. We'll do a 0 to 60 in a little bit, but you got to make sure this thing's pointed the right way, whether you got traction control on or not. All four wheels dig in and just propel this Polestar. All right, what's the odds of 2 cameras failing in one day? But here we are, a little later in the day than we wanted to be doing this, but some general driving impressions before we start getting into some of the handling stuff out there. So first thing about this, what I'm noticing is that I notice it does have the Ohlin Dampers on it, but the ride quality is really good. Again, I don't know if that's due to these dampers. I don't know what setting they're on. You know, I don't know if any prior journalist has changed these settings. Somehow I do doubt that, but anyway, the ride quality is really good. It is firm, of course, because we do have, you know, this thing is geared for track use, so of course it's going to be a little on the firm side. So, but very comfortable. So again, noticing that this is as comfortable as you'd expect a premium luxury car to be as far as going over these bumps here. Hop over these right here. Yeah, very, very sophisticated. So very premium car. Like I said, I think this is riding better than some prior Polestar, especially at 2023. 2024, markedly better ride quality. The other thing is throttle input. I've mentioned this in prior Polestar reviews, and that's that you do not know, just driving this around, that you have, you know, gobs of torque and horsepower. That first probably quarter of the throttle is very easy to modulate. If I go over here and put on the standard one pedal braking, it's just very, very easy. There's just a lot of play in the top of that pedal so that you get nice, easy takeoffs. You're not really tapping into all of that torque. So that's another nice thing, makes drivability of Polestar very, very nice. You're not, you know, unless you really want to get on it like that, your passengers are going to have a nice smooth ride, whether you're one pedal driving or not. Third thing, 0 to 60, do a little 0 to 60 action in this 2024 Polestar 2 dual motor performance pack. All you got to do is punch it. 60. You know, Car and Driver measures this at a little bit below 4 seconds, 3.9, 3.7. I'll figure out what that was in the recap there, but you know, it doesn't smack you, you know. And if you want to really geek out on speed and velocity and acceleration, so you got your velocity, and if you do your rate of change versus time at that velocity, that gives you your acceleration. There is another term, if you do your change of acceleration per time, that's called jerk, and it's aptly named because if I just hit this, I get big jerk as the acceleration changes. But Polestar has actually smoothed out the jerk part of this, so it's not as violent. This thing doesn't accelerate like 0 to 10, 0 to 15 as fast as it does 20 to 30, 30 to 40. So yeah, this is just all, oh my God. You dial up any speed instantaneously, whether you got traction control on or not, you're not gonna break these tires loose. They're just gobs. There's gobs of traction here for confident. Oh, you know, this is not, you know, I mentioned this before, you know, like something like a small little gas powered sports car with a manual transmission is way more fun, but there is something entertaining about just shooting out of these turns. Like I said, you dial up any speed with this dual motor performance pack. Again, you got gobs of grip. The steering is quick, very, very accurate here, as you can tell. Oh my gosh, very quick. Yeah, this is a hoot to drive for an electric car. I have not driven the Tesla Model 3 Performance, but I would think, yeah, I think they're probably, they're in the same ballpark. But yeah, just coming around a turn like this with this big meaty steering wheel and all 4 wheels clawing. Oh, that's very, very confident, inspiring in here. You can just, it feels very, this is just one big solid hunk of stuff. And yeah, lots of grip and man, just a lot of fun. So now, do you need the all-wheel drive to have fun? That's where I'm gonna go, you know, gotta limb here and say that rear wheel drive, for me, it's a little bit more entertaining. Definitely does not have the oomph that this one has. Yeah, this car's a little bit of a wolf in sheep's clothing. Is that the right term? I mean, it just looks like your mild-mannered sedan. If you know, you can see those gold brake calipers through there. Maybe it gives you a hint of what's going on, but it's not a mild-mannered sedan by no means with this power. Okay, here we go. The road's a little damp. You just got to make sure this thing's pointed in the right way. All right, here we go. Oh, see, you see a truck bearing down you. You don't worry about it here. You just hit the gas and go. All right, settling in out here. But so one of the big differences, like I said, I do like the rear wheel drive. I think it's a little bit more natural feeling than all 4 of these tires just, you know, grabbing the pavement and shooting you. But the extra power you get out of this dual motor is, you're gonna see it out here at higher speed. You know, you're gonna see, you know, 50 to 70, 70 to 90. Yeah, that's where you're really gonna enjoy the extra dual motor power. It's just as you cruise down the highway. Now, as far as cruising out here on the highway, this is very quiet. Luxury car quiet in here, a little tinny, but still luxury car quiet. Again, I love the leather, very comfortable. Visibility out the back is a little narrow. Mirrors aren't that big, but they are rimless, so we got good view there. Average size A-pillars there. You know, nothing to real complain about visibility. Again, getting back to some of the things I like, you get a little bit of extra ride height, and out here on the highway is where you'll enjoy that extra ride height. I don't know, you're not sitting down too low, you're not sitting up real high. Very comfortable cruiser. I wouldn't call it darty, but we'll turn on the cruise control. We're in a little bit of traffic again, doing this video way later in the day than we like to do, so again, you can't predict when your cameras are gonna fail on you. So let me go ahead and enable the cruise control. It's easy. You don't have to do anything. You have to turn it on. You just hit this button and I'm going. I can adjust my distance here, and And if I do want to enable lane trace, it's just one right click, and now I got pilot assist going, and it'll go 10-12 seconds like most systems before it yells at me to grab the wheel. There it goes. I'm gonna hit this button here to turn that off, or hit that button again right there to turn it off, and I'm still running on my radar cruise control. Let's go ahead and turn that off here. Let's see some other features I have enjoyed. Again, the ambient lighting, I've already mentioned that. This does have the Harman Kardon sound system. Oh, I have played with it this week, because you can go into, let's go into settings here, sound experience, do some surround sound action. But I do have a multi-channel equalizer, and you can see I've been playing with it. I got the bass up pretty high right now. I've turned down some of the highs. Again, it's pretty good. It wouldn't be a make or break decision for me on this car. It's perfectly acceptable. I just think, I just want a little bit more out of it as far as premium sounding, but again, it's pretty good. So I'm not complaining about it. It just doesn't, I don't know, it's just lacking a little bit of that premium sound quality that you would expect. But this is one of these cars where you just want to cruise in it all day. It's so quiet, you can listen to your music. However, you're going to be limited on your range, so you're going to have to find a place to stop and charge every couple hundred miles, probably on average. I think this has a 150, 160 kilowatt charger. You're looking at average speeds, you know, 10 to 80, 30 minutes to 45 minutes.
Okay, while we tool along here, let me just recap the top 5 things I like and don't like about the Polestar. So let me just start with the good ones, the stuff I really like. So first of all, I do like how this drives. For an EV, this is just fun. Whether you get the all-wheel drive or the rear-wheel drive, it's solid. It drives like a premium vehicle. Number 2 is just the range. You know, this is not a range monster, as I've already mentioned, but at least it's honest about it. And for the performance you're getting here, I think the range is actually been pretty good this week. Number 3 is the ride height. I do like how this sits a little bit higher. Gives you good visibility, kind of feels like you're sitting up higher than a sedan, and you're not having to, it's easy to get in and out of. Number 4, I like that this is a hatchback. Yes, the Mustang Mach-E, the Tesla Model Y, but I like that this is a fastback and sort of a smaller package. It's very, very useful. And number 5 is just the styling. I like how this looks on the inside. I like how it looks on the outside. It's kind of understated, and it will age well, and it has been aging well. This thing's been out for quite a while now. All right, let's move on to my top 5 dislikes or annoyances. I'm going to count backwards on these. Now, number 5 is just, I've already mentioned, is the wireless charging. Needs to be better, and you do need wireless Apple CarPlay at this price point. Now, number 4 is just the bezel around the screen. I like the screen, but it looks a little dated with the wide blank black bezel that goes around there. Number 3, I do wish the sound system were more premium. Again, it's fine, but at this price point, I would want something that sounds just a tad better. Number 2 is that on-off situation. I don't want my car coming on when I sit in it. I want to touch the button. I want to turn it on. I want full control over that. And the big one, the big elephant in the room when it comes to Polestars in general, and this one here, is just the price. Not only is it not eligible for tax credits, it's also subject to tariffs, I think. So this is kind of like the poster child for the geopolitics of EVs. Now, Polestar is building that, or maybe they've even opened already, that plant in the US to build cars again. So again, just price, the whole, you know, the politics of cars would be the number one thing here that annoys me, because this is a really, really good car.
So let's see where we are. So we've gone 79 miles, and we started with 80%, so now that's 28% of the battery. Let's see what the TM is saying here. 27.7 kilowatt hours per 100 miles. Yeah, so this is saying we've averaged 44 miles per hour. We've gone 79 miles and 27.7 kilowatts hour per 100 miles. Yeah, that's getting up to 300 miles of range. So At 44 miles per hour, this thing seems to be very happy and is going to do very, very good on its range. So, all right, so there we go, guys. It's raining, not going to hop out, just going to kind of wrap this up. I do like the Polestar 2. If you watched the other video, you'll know that I'm a big fan. I'm not sure that you need the all-wheel drive. I think the two-wheel drive single mode, rear-wheel drive single motor is the one to get, but get all the luxury items. I would definitely get this leather on here. I think that would be fantastic. You know, and if I were in the EV market, I would put this at the top of my list. Not new, probably look for one of these used, but this is a very entertaining car to drive. Solid, feels like it's very, very well built. And every Polestar I've been in has been a lot of fun to drive. Anyway, there you go, guys. Leave your questions and comments below. We do appreciate you coming along with us today. And as always, have a great day, morning or evening, wherever you may be.